In case you haven't heard, there's a truly fascinating concept in psychology known as the predictive mind. Now, at first, it might sound complex or scientific, but in reality, it's something happening inside your head every single second of every single day, and most people have no idea it's even going on. The predictive mind is the psychological mechanism your brain uses to constantly anticipate what's coming next. It's like an invisible program quietly running in the background of your mind, always scanning, analyzing, calculating, and trying to predict what might unfold around you. And this isn't just a quirky mental habit, it's actually hardwired into the human brain. Every person you've ever met, yourself included, has this system operating beneath the surface at all times. Think about it. Every time you step into a room, your brain is already making predictions. It's guessing who will be there, what conversations might be happening, how people will react, even what the overall mood of the space will feel like. The same thing happens when you send a text message. Before you even hit send, your brain is already trying to predict how fast the person will reply and what their response will be. It even happens in the smallest interactions. The moment someone starts a sentence, your brain doesn't sit idly by. It jumps ahead, trying to predict how they'll finish their thought. Your mind is constantly a step ahead, creating a mental roadmap of what it expects to happen next. But why does the brain do this? What's the purpose? The answer is surprisingly simple: safety. As human beings, we crave predictability. Our brains are designed to seek out patterns because when life follows a familiar, expected path, we feel secure. Predictability means stability, and stability allows us to relax. It lets us lower our guard and settle into a sense of comfort and control. This desire for predictability is especially noticeable when it comes to women. And that's not just a stereotype. It's deeply connected to biology, psychology, and life experience. For women, feeling emotionally and physically safe is often a constant underlying priority. When things happen the way they expect, when conversations, interactions, and social dynamics play out predictably, they can finally relax and feel at ease. But here's where it gets really fascinating. The moment something unexpected happens, even something subtle, the brain reacts instantly. It snaps to attention. It's almost like your predictive mind experiences a tiny glitch, like a computer program suddenly freezing for a split second because reality didn't match its expectations. And in that moment, your brain wakes up. You become present, hyper-aware, focused. Your attention sharpens because your brain wants to solve the puzzle. It needs to understand what just happened, why it didn't see it coming, and what might happen next. And this, right here, is where things get really, really interesting. Now, here's where the idea of the predictive mind becomes truly fascinating, especially when we look at human interaction, attraction, and social dynamics. There is a very specific psychological moment that occurs the instant your brain's prediction is broken. That split second when you expect something to happen, and then reality delivers something completely different. It's at that exact moment that your brain snaps to attention. Your awareness sharpens. You become hyper-focused, fully present, and intensely curious. It's almost as if your mind suddenly lights up, demanding answers. You start asking yourself, wait, what just happened? Why didn't that go the way I thought it would? But here's what's truly interesting. This reaction isn't rooted in fear or discomfort. It's driven by curiosity. The human brain is wired to solve puzzles, to make sense of the unknown. And when the world defies your expectations, your curiosity takes over. This phenomenon becomes incredibly important when we apply it to dating and attraction, particularly from the perspective of women. Imagine you're talking to a woman you're interested in. Maybe she's attractive, maybe she's been approached by dozens, even hundreds of men before, because let's face it, most women have. Through sheer repetition and experience, women develop an extraordinary ability to predict male behavior. They've heard all the lines, received the same compliments, endured the same awkward small talk. Over time, they've become experts at seeing the patterns. The average woman has developed an incredibly sharp, predictive mind when it comes to men. She can practically predict how the interaction will play out before it even begins. She knows how most guys will try to impress her. She knows how they'll react if she pulls back or shows disinterest. It becomes so predictable that it almost feels like she's reading minds, but in reality, it's simply that the patterns have become that obvious. And because of this, most women interact with men on autopilot. They don't need to think deeply about it. Their predictive mind has been trained so well, it's like a sixth sense, effortlessly guiding them through these interactions without any real emotional investment. But all of that changes the moment you do something unexpected. The moment you break the pattern, even in the smallest way, you disrupt her predictive mind. You snap her out of autopilot. And in that moment, just like your brain does when confronted with the unexpected, her brain lights up with curiosity, and suddenly, you have her full attention. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game, and you're losing. But I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. The truth is, most women can predict with near perfect accuracy how the average man will behave. It's not magic, it's simply a reflection of experience. And the reason they can do this so easily is, frankly, because as men, we tend to be pretty simple and, unfortunately, painfully predictable at times. That's just our nature. Whether it's the compliments we give, the topics we bring up, or how we respond to subtle tests of confidence, it all tends to follow a pattern. Most women have seen this pattern play out so many times that their predictive mind doesn't even have to work hard anymore. It operates almost like clockwork, guiding them through interactions with men based on expectations that are almost always met. But here's where things take a turn, and this is where opportunity lies. Imagine you're talking to a woman, and instead of falling into the same predictable rhythm she's seen 1,000 times, you do something unexpected. You disrupt the pattern. Maybe, right at the moment where most guys would try harder to win her over, you pause, you relax, you show that you're not desperate for her approval. Or maybe, instead of showering her with the same recycled compliments she's heard all her life, you tease her playfully, showing confidence and a sense of humor. Maybe when she pulls away slightly, a classic test most guys fail by chasing harder. Instead of pursuing, you simply walk away, unaffected, as if you have better things to do. The moment you do something unpredictable, something that breaks her mental script of how the conversation or interaction is supposed to go, her brain reacts. And it reacts automatically. It's not a conscious decision, it's a hardwired response. Her predictive mind suddenly glitches, unable to compute your next move, and that right there triggers curiosity. Her attention sharpens, her interest grows, and without even realizing it, she starts watching you more closely. Not with cold logic, not as a deliberate choice, but because something inside her needs to solve the puzzle that you've now become. And this brings us to another fascinating psychological concept: prediction error. In the simplest terms, prediction error is how scientists explain the feeling of surprise. It's what happens in the brain when an expectation is violated, when reality doesn't match the prediction, and when that happens, the brain lights up with activity. It starts paying closer attention, it craves answers, it wants to resolve the uncertainty. In that moment, you've created a gap between what she expected and what actually happened. And that gap, that small, unexpected disruption, is exactly where intrigue and attraction are born. Whenever the human brain guesses something incorrectly, something really fascinating happens. It literally lights up with activity. This increased brain activity signals that the mind has detected a mismatch between expectation and reality. When the brain experiences this kind of prediction error, it doesn't just shrug it off. Instead, it becomes hyper-focused. It starts paying much closer attention, trying to solve the puzzle it's been presented with. It wants to understand why its prediction was wrong, what the actual truth is, and what caused the unexpected event to occur in the first place. This process is how the brain learns and adapts, constantly updating its internal model of the world. Now, when you apply this to interactions with women, the implications are powerful. Most women, through years of experience, have developed the ability to predict about 90% of what most men will say or do. They've been exposed to so many similar conversations, compliments, and approaches that their predictive mind is practically on autopilot. They think they already know exactly what you're going to say or how you're going to behave. But here's the trick. When you do something that completely contradicts her expectations, when you behave in a way that she didn't see coming, it triggers that prediction error. It might be something subtle, the way you phrase a sentence, the energy you project, or how you carry yourself. But whatever it is, it throws her brain off balance. In that moment, her curiosity ignites. She starts to wonder, what is this guy's deal? What's really going on with him? What is he going to say next? Why is this so different from what I'm used to? That sense of curiosity is critical because it's exactly where attraction begins. When a woman becomes genuinely curious and intrigued, she becomes deeply invested in figuring you out. She starts paying more attention, thinking about you more often, and feeling a magnetic pull that can quickly turn into fascination or even obsession. This moment of unpredictability, when you break the expected pattern, is the key to capturing and holding her interest on a much deeper level. And here's the truly fascinating part. None of this has anything to do with how good looking you are, or whether you've mastered the perfect line to say, or even if you have thousands of dollars stuffed in your pockets, bursting out of your pants. It's not about having a flashy car, wearing designer clothes, or flashing status symbols like most guys assume. The truth is far more surprising and much simpler than that. What really captivates a woman's attention, what really sparks her curiosity and attraction, is something most men don't even realize exists. It's an almost invisible, subtle quality rooted deeply in how our brains are wired, and it's incredibly powerful because it bypasses all the usual cliches of attraction. When you do something unexpected, something that breaks her prediction of what you're going to say or do, it suddenly flips a switch in her mind. She becomes fully locked in. Her attention sharpens. She's no longer just passively listening or casually engaging. Instead, she's watching you with a newfound intensity. She's intrigued, curious, and mentally engaged in a way that's far more meaningful than superficial attraction. It's almost as if she's trying to solve a fascinating puzzle, trying to understand what makes you different from everyone else she's met before. Here's where most guys completely miss the point. Around 90% of men, the ones who get overlooked, the ones who never seem to catch a woman's genuine interest, don't grasp this simple but crucial concept. They believe attraction comes from checking off a list, looking perfect, having the right job, earning a certain amount, or delivering the perfect compliment or joke. They think if they just say the right things or display the right status symbols, attraction will magically appear. But that's a misconception. Attraction isn't about perfection or ticking boxes. The real secret is this. Attraction comes from unpredictability and mystery. It comes from the ability to break the expected pattern and keep her guessing. When you consistently behave in ways that are different from what she predicts, when you don't fit neatly into any familiar mold or stereotype, you create an irresistible magnetic pull. This unpredictability invites curiosity, and curiosity fuels attraction in a way that looks, money, or rehearsed lines simply cannot. In essence, being unpredictable transforms you into a source of endless intrigue. You become someone she can't easily categorize or write off, someone whose next move she genuinely wants to figure out. And that mental engagement, that deep-rooted curiosity, is the foundation of true attraction. It's a powerful dynamic that transcends superficial qualities and taps into a woman's natural desire to explore and understand something, or someone unique and different. Attraction doesn't come from trying to be some perfect, flawless man. That's a common misconception. What attraction really comes down to is much simpler, yet far more powerful. It's about making sure that women can never predict your next move. That's it. It's really that simple. If you take a closer look at the men who consistently attract women, the top 1 to 5% of guys who seem to effortlessly get amazing results with women, you'll notice something fascinating. These men don't just follow the same old predictable patterns or scripts that most guys stick to. Instead, they do something different. What sets them apart is their ability to keep women guessing. They regularly make the women they meet feel like they have no idea what's coming next. This unpredictability isn't accidental, it's a skill, a way of being that these men have developed over time. Whether it's through the way they talk, the things they say, how they carry themselves, or even how they dress, they refuse to fit into any one mold or archetype that women expect. They break the patterns that most men fall into and surprise women consistently. And this surprise, this sense of not knowing, creates an intense pull, a magnetic energy that women find incredibly attractive. When you reach this point, where you become that guy who keeps women on their toes, never quite sure what you'll do or say next, you essentially turn into an endless source of mystery and intrigue. And mystery, as it turns out, is one of the most potent forces in attraction. It invites curiosity, it sparks interest, and it keeps women coming back for more. You can think of women like cats in this context. They're naturally curious, cautious, and easily intrigued by things that don't behave predictably. Just like a cat will follow a laser pointer because it can't predict where it will move next, women are drawn to men who don't fit neatly into a box or follow a boring, predictable routine. When you become that unpredictable force, you tap into a primal part of attraction that goes beyond looks, money, or smooth talk. So the real key to standing out, to being truly attractive, isn't to try to be perfect. It's to be unpredictable, to be mysterious, and to keep women guessing. That's the secret weapon that the most successful men use, consciously or not, to create powerful attraction. What this really means is that women go absolutely wild when they can't figure something out, when they can't predict a guy's next move. It drives them genuinely bonkers. There's something deeply magnetic about mystery and unpredictability. When a woman encounters a man she can't read or anticipate, it triggers a powerful curiosity and fascination that goes far beyond surface level attraction. It's like her mind is constantly engaged, always wanting to know more, always trying to solve the puzzle you represent. This uncertainty creates a tension and excitement that's incredibly alluring. Once you reach the point where women feel they simply cannot guess what you're going to do next, where your behavior is genuinely unpredictable, your attractiveness skyrockets. We're talking about multiplying your appeal by 10 times, or even more. It's as if you flipped a switch inside their brain, turning casual interest into deep obsession. Women don't just want to be with a man they understand completely. In fact, the opposite is true. They want to be drawn to someone who is like an unsolvable puzzle, a mystery that keeps them intrigued and constantly guessing. That's where real attraction comes alive. And here's the best part. Becoming this kind of man doesn't require you to be some billionaire or to have a perfect six-pack from hours spent at the gym. You don't need a flashy car, an expensive wardrobe, or a huge social status. None of those external things are necessary to create this effect. Instead, it all comes down to one simple but powerful idea: how you behave and carry yourself in everyday life. The way you interact with women, the energy you put out, the small decisions you make about what you say and do. These are what truly make a difference. What you need to cultivate is a presence and vibe that keeps women guessing. You want them to never quite know what your next move will be. Maybe one day you're charming and playful, the next day you're calm and confident in silence. Maybe sometimes you tease, sometimes you're serious. The key is breaking their expectations just enough to keep the mystery alive. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about being genuine, but also being unpredictable and unique. This approach is incredibly simple, yet incredibly effective. Because the truth is, most men don't even realize this is happening. They try to impress women by being what they think women want, ticking off boxes on some checklist. But the men who truly stand out are the ones who naturally break the mold. They create a sense of intrigue that's impossible to ignore. So, if you want to increase your attraction power dramatically, focus less on trying to be perfect and more on being unpredictable, interesting, and authentic in ways that keep women curious. That is the real secret. And it's a secret that anyone can use, no matter who they are or where they're starting from. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.